Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Ma. Jai Ma, everyone, Jai Ma. I hope all of you are well. Chaliye, let's see. Long question. It says username is Rohit12273. Jai Ma Swamiji, today I am going through one of your old videos in which you said that Ma Anandmayi in your Mandir is alive and there are many little stories about her in your Mandir. Can you please tell all the stories of Ma in your Mandir? I am very excited to hear those stories. It's a tall order, Rohit, because there are so many different incidents. I can narrate a few to you, not many, because the video can't go very long. And maa ki baatein aisi hoti hai na that you can go on talking whole night, whole day. You can go on talking. So let's begin. There was a time when I was very interested in having a murti of Ma. I wanted a 3 feet, like a huge murti of Ma. I was very excited about it. And I said, I want it and I want it. So there were some Ma devotees who called up and said, don't even try, because if Ma's khayal is not there, it's not going to happen. And many people have tried and they have not been successful and it didn't happen. So don't waste your time. You won't be able to manage this. So that made me still adamant, more adamant, that no, I have to do it. So I contacted a few people, and first I had to figure out who could do the murti, the idol. So I had one Pandit who used to come to my house, a Brahman, who used to perform pujas and all that. So I was talking to him one day and he said he knew some Shilpkar artist, a sculptor who could do the murti, and he would do it in plaster of Paris, and then that would go to the main gallery, the shop, where all the murtis were being sold, and then they would, with that, what do you call it, the plaster of Paris model, they would make a marble murti. So he said, I know that person who runs the gallery and we can talk to him. So I said, oh great, let's talk. So we called up and the fellow said, it'll cost you about $1.5 lakh. I said, oh my God, I don't have that kind of money and I can't do that. Then he himself suggested, this is all Ma's doing, okay? He himself suggested that why don't you contact our sculptor, and he lives in Pain. It's very far away, and now today he's on my Facebook also. He's a friend. So you contact him, and he's a very good artist, and once he does the plaster of Paris model for you, you won't want a marble piece because it's that good what he does. I said, really? So I contacted him. He started working, he came over, and it's a long story. I gave him all the photographs and he was saying that no, I don't need so many photographs, 1 or 2 is enough. And I said, this is Ma. You won't be satisfied with 1 or 2 because none of her profiles match. So you try to do it, with lots of pictures. And he said no. It went on and on and on and on, cutting the story short. It took 5 months for him to make it. Every time he would make something and I wasn't happy, I wasn't satisfied, I would go all the way to Pain to check it out and it just didn't look like Ma. Finally, he got very frustrated and he said, I have this capacity, not more than this. Why don't you find somebody else to do it? I said, no, I will not find anybody else. You will do it. And that time he didn't understand why I was after him and I refused, Because later I narrated to him that when this kind of a thing was going on, Ma had come in my vision and she had shown me that he was the one who was making the murti. So how could I tell him that at that time? Because I didn't know whether he would believe any of that, But since Ma had given me the message, I said, I will insist that he has to do it. 5 months went by, and after 5 months he said, now it's ready. So I said, okay, now you come home with the tempo and all that, put the bust. He had just made the bust, that not the full figure, because first we had to approve the bust only. So he came over, and that time I had called 2-3 of Maha's devotees over to check out the murti, whether everybody was unanimously under the opinion that it did look like Ma. So he came over, and the moment he opened it, oh my God, it was just Ma. So everybody said, oh Ma, everybody started saying, and that was that. So Ma had finally arrived. Then he sat down and painted and, did all the rest of the things, touch-ups and everything, and the whole body. And then I did the shringar on Ma, put on a sari. I'll put the, in the thumbnail, I'll put that picture of Ma, photograph of Ma, which is in my mandir. Now comes the time when I start doing puja and all that, and Bhaskaranji had told me, Swami Bhaskaranji Maharaj had told me, don't do pran pratishtha, because if you do pran pratishtha from morning to night, you'll have to take care right from beginning to end, like getting up in the morning to shayan in the night, and 3 meals a day, everything. You won't be able to handle all that. So don't worry about any of that. Just Ma is present all the time. Ma to hai hi, so you don't have to do all that. I said, thank God he advised me on that, and I didn't do that. Now slowly, as I was doing puja in my mandir, I would, suppose she's looking straight at me, okay, and it's so beautiful that the moment you look at the murti, you'll say, oh my God, you'll get goose flesh and all, as if she's just sitting there, looking at you. So when I would do puja and all that, and I would, look somewhere else and try to take out some things like diya hai, agarbatti hai and all that, and I would look up at her, suddenly I would find her shifting her eyes, like she was looking at me, and suddenly when I'm looking at her, she shifted her eyes. And I'm saying, am I dreaming? Now that kind of an experience other people also went through. Like whenever my father went into the mandir to do pranam, and he would get up and he said, oh my God, Nita, that time I was Nita, the eyes were shifting. I said, yeah, that's true. Even I've seen it. So, she was there. She's constantly there today also. Then sometimes I would see her breathing. Her chest was heaving, it would go up and down. And I would see that and I said, am I dreaming? And I said, no, it's not. One day what happened is, I was so used to entering the mandir, there is a curtain, which covers her. So I cover her with the curtain, and when I'm doing the puja, I open the curtain. It's like that. So in the morning, my usual ritual used to be, it was enter the mandir, switch on the light, then open the curtain, then light the diya, agarbatti, aarti thali, keep it ready. All those things I would be involved in doing. And then I would sit down on my asan. So that day I opened the curtain, and suddenly she's rocking like this. Exactly what I'm doing, okay? Rocking like this. And I jumped up and caught hold of her thinking that there is an earthquake. I said, there are tremors going on and I don't want her to fall and break, I don't want the murti to break. So I caught hold of her and suddenly I realized I'm not rocking. I'm realizing there are all other murtis in the mandir and none of them are rocking. Only Ma is rocking. I said, oh my God, what is she trying to do? And when I caught hold of her, then she steadied. And I said, wow, what was that? So, so many different experiences one goes through. Even when people came from outside, they would just look at the murti and do sashtang pranam and they would say, Ma is here. I said, yes. Well, my God, she's so alive. I said, yes. It was just, Mahatmas who would come to my house, all of them mostly have come. And I would take them to the mandir and they would immediately do sashtang pranam. And Swami Bhaskaranji used to say, because those days I had a lot of murtis in the mandir. Ma is in the center and lots of murtis next to her. And Swami Bhaskaranji would always tell me, you have a conference of gods over here. And I'd say, yeah, that's true. So she's present, she's all the time there. The moment you enter the mandir, you know that she's there. So what stories can I tell you? There are so many stories, I've told you a couple of them. But these kind of experiences go on, and she's watching over you all the time. Blessed, yes, I'm blessed that she's with me all the time. That's all. I hope you're happy with the stories. Jai Ma, I'll see you next time.